It's Saturday, October 23rd, 2021. I'm in the symbolic flagging system that the North America, United States of America, have provided as some type of unity or unit in some edition, trying to avoid sedition and falsely imprisoned person, which is kind of how I feel, but whatever and whatever. With some squares I'm working on in a gigantic hole where I don't have any squares to rely on. So I'm just doing some topiary work in a labyrinth system that seems to have been designed before I got here, but I'm not quite sure how they labeled or associated themselves. So I'm just making a couple of observations and hoping to alert the squares so they know what, in like a tell on each other kind of a thing, so they can get squared away and fix some stuff. Alright, so in my local Bayside station, Bayside, New York, I can visually see there's a 4-letter alphabet soup that is spelled out NYPD. They associate and identify themselves as a police department. Then there is a FDNY spelled out 4 letters. NYPD wears blue and white, or blue, and then fire department wears red when they advertise on their ambulance and on their fire trucks. They use the red Symbology color as a backdrop. FDNY also uses a 4-letter word, 4 letters, but makes a sound as one of fire, and then department, where NYPD has the police, POLICE. They have a 6-letter association. There is, somebody reminded me the other day, he drove by and it was like seeing a great white, and you're like, what's going on? Like, I don't see too many. There was a state trooper that came through my ocean on Northern Boulevard in front of NYPD, and I'm like, what did NYPD do? I wonder. State troopers here, checking in on this brotherhood of man, I suppose. So now that happened, and that was curious, because I forget that they exist, because I never see any of them. I don't know how they exist in New York, if they're just really mostly, I know there's a local part of them, and I know they're important in the mixture for balancing and making sure not one power is more authorized than the others, but I don't know how their integration works into the system. I'm just as respectful, though. They just don't have a station I walk by every day as an informant of what's going on the boulevard. But anyway, so I saw on the news media in New York, they had almost like, I think on like one of these inside editions or like entertainment news, they had this obnoxious white boy or white guy in a big burly flatbed truck who modified the engine for some stunted purpose, one, for training. And he drives by a, this is for teaching purposes, on a one-time, we don't need to, whatever, but, he modified his engine and put some kind of black coal, COAL, so that when he steps on the gas and the brake at the same time. And then he lets go of the gas, when he lets go of the brake, he takes off and he leaves the pedestrian, it was the woman, covered in soot smoke, almost like Mary Poppins by the chimney sweepers up top, how they were covered in some form of soot because that was whatever. Well, he did it to a pedestrian. Now, well, I would not myself purposely modify my engine or do this. I understand it's whatever and whatever. It seemed more of like a IAB thing, and approved ahead of time, in an actor moment for training. Because in real life on Bell Boulevard, there's a couple of things going on in my Bayside station, Bayside, New York, which I don't know because the NYPD, sometimes there's an auxiliary that walks. There's some ticket guy, but they're a whole nother department within the department. I don't know if anybody's watching what's going on Crescent Street in, I don't know, is that Middle Village? They call themselves Queens North. It's some transit thing. I think that they're ticketing cars and keeping their own budget. I don't know how that's legal, but somebody at State Trooper might want to know. And then I've got, let's think about this. Oh, so I'm walking up on Bell Boulevard last night, and all of a sudden, it's like one of those burner cars, BURNER. It's almost like a modified vehicle. Now, I don't know what chemical compound that they use to make crack or meth, and I don't know what they're supposed to smell like. But if it's some kind of automobile product that they mix purposely and then almost like crop dust a city block for some disgusting purpose, that's what it felt like last night on October 22nd, 2021. As I'm walking, it was like I couldn't get out of the smell. It was all over this one particular area, and it was right after there was some kind of car that seemed to have like a larger tailpipe than the normal cars, and it almost felt like a cloud of dust left behind, but it was more of like an invisible dust because it dissipated. The solute dissipated really fast, but you could smell it, and you knew it smelled wrong. It smelled chemical, and it did not smell right. So that happened yesterday. Now, added to that, there's another problem. The actual EMS or EMT ambulance buses, BUS, but the ones where they take patients in to the bus, they have modified their car shop, wherever they go, has changed out the lighting. The lights actually in the FDNY ambulance has gotten so dangerously bright, it actually interferes with your ability, or my ability, to see and be able to focus and stay cognitively on the road at the same time. They do it all the time now. And the other thing is that the ambulances, especially the ones on Bell Boulevard, can't speak for the rest of the city, but on Bell Boulevard, the decibels are so high, it is criminal. They are in such violation. I don't understand how there's no state or city representative shutting the shit down. It's been going on for a long time, and I don't believe I'm the only one who's reported it. But I don't understand why there's nobody looking into these things. So the actual city, like, league, law enforcement, like the good guys of FDNY and NYPD, their lights have been changed out on their vehicles to a dangerous new, almost xenon gas level, but the photons are too high and they're dangerous for your retinas and for your eyesight. That's one. and the sound. Now, last night on October 22nd, the same night that the burner car, which was an unmarked car of, I don't know, could have been anybody's car, going down and leaving this disgusting, exhausty smelling, wrong chemical compound, but it was not natural. And it was like, it felt like for nefarious purposes, after seeing the other possibility with the black joke engine leaving the pedestrians, that there are some disgusting sick people out there that do these things for coin and for fun and for hazing. I mean, it's fucking disgusting, but that's how humans are in New York. So that happened. But the lights on both the police cars and on the fire trucks and the ambulances. And then they have private ambulances. New York Presbyterian and Flushing Hospital are Northwell also, 3 of them, also have been using and upgraded their lights to the xenon, like photon range, which is so damaging to the eyesight of the public. I don't understand how they got away with it. And how nobody is counteracting this. Along with nobody's doing decibel checks on their car, like, sirens. Now, last night while I was there was a gentleman who was sitting down on a park bench. He was not my genealogy. He was a different genealogy completely. Different family line on the Rapagal. I don't know from where. But we would not be mistaken as family members. And he had around his neck a lanyard with 2 like plastic identities. I couldn't read from a pedestrian walking on the street, but I saw him there with his phone making a note of something. And as I was walking with my umbrella, there was a police car, and this police car went past me on my left side in front of almost Bearburger, and its sirens were a lot lower. It was not, decibel wise, it was not as high as they have been in the local Bayside area. But the fire department's ambulance is the worst. I can deal with the fire truck. They're like right on the cusp. But their ambulances and New York Presbyterian and Flushing ambulance, private ambulances, they are so uncharacteristically loud. We are not in an area that warrants this decibel level. We're just not. It's weaponry at this point, and it is such a clear violation. I don't know why any of the city inspectors are not able to internalize this and get this resolved for the public. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It's a Saturday, and it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken.